I've never watched a film where it's made me want to give up surfing and go surfing at the same time.
Welcome to the Insiders podcast, the greatest podcast in the world, voted by myself and Matthew. 18th of July. European summer is hard amongst us. Southern Hemisphere winter is running hot. I'm currently been watching, and I just saw the end of episode 3, the Dallas Cowboys. If you really want a good insight into fake American culture, get a load of that. That'll blow your mind. How are you, Matty?
Yeah, not bad. Is that the cheerleader thing or is that something different?
Yes, it's a place where we can safely say the word brand 500 times an episode.
It's if it's the cheerleader thing, I caught some of it. Emily watched it. I didn't actually watch it, but I caught some. There's some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever like when they like the way that they just like rip people apart and they're like, right, you can't be in it because you got a weird smile and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It's everything
but
that's wrong about humanity.
yeah, but talking about things that we've been watching that I could talk all night about, and we probably might, is and jumping straight in. Stab Premium released Facing Monsters, the Kirby Brown film.
Don't give Star Premium the glory on this. Just so they watch it
Well,
because it was available to people before they released it.
I couldn't have watched it before. I tried to find it before and couldn't watch it because, but still, all I'm giving all credit to is whoever made the thing. Um, but it is quite conflicting as well. I won't lie about that when I watched it. But I think for me, I've never watched a film where it's made me want to give up surfing and go surfing at the same time until that did. And yeah, I would want absolutely nothing to do with any of what he goes near.
Oh, it's pretty hardcore, isn't it?
I think it's the hardest of the core. Like, I don't
I think
think,
it's the hardest core stuff you can nearly ever see.
like, I can safely say, I don't think I know anyone who would want to go near what he goes near.
It's quite interesting that that's like the different polar uh caps that surfing has.
Yeah. And I do think that, like, the film is amazing. Everyone should actually go and watch it because it is just really, really insightful. It reminded me of there was a film on Netflix. I think it was called 11 Peaks, and it was Nim's Persia, and he done
Yeah,
the
I
highest peak.
watched that.
And it reminded me of that because it is inspiring and it is incredible, and the footage and like how it's shot and everything, incredible. But
I will say that now that you've mentioned that was one of the things I was thinking of when I was watching that. For example, is surfers tend to think that what we do is and it is incredibly unique, but it isn't the only discipline in the world where people are sending it to that level.
yeah,
It's just such a unique sport. And if you're a surfer, that's just something so incredible. Like for example, Alex Honnold climbing El Capitan's another one. Kilian Jornet, you know Kilian Jornet?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's the Spanish mountain runner, and Bradley sent me one the other day where there's a guy like on a little bike going along like an apex cliff.
yeah,
But what Kirby Brown is doing is equal to any of that sort of stuff. Like, you know, we won't ruin it for viewers, but they'll watch it. But there's an opening scene where he's looking at this left-hander that's a dry slab, basically, like literally a dry slab. And you see the first wave, I think, maybe even the first wave of the film, and he's holding on. He's on a quad. He's holding on. He's leaning into the wave, and you nearly think, how is that possible that he held on there at the end
Yeah.
and kind of got out the end? Because otherwise, it's being pitched onto dry rock, which people like these sort of guys often do, and they kind of, let's say, 8 times out of 10 get away with it because I think you can maybe just bounce, and maybe there's some of these rocks that have got sponge. But if you were to land head first, so
Well,
much for your neck.
especially that first wave is there's a chance where you don't land on the rock, but you go into it because it almost sucks back off of the ledge, and there's like a double ledge that he could potentially fall and just get smashed straight basically into the side of a rock face while underwater with a heavy wave smashing him down on it. Um yeah. What to your point of like how he held on, mental, and when it first started with that wave, I thought, oh, maybe it's going to do one of those things that films do where it shows you like the worst part and then it will travel back and then finish at that. But that's actually like one of the more tame waves he surfs in that whole thing, and that wave is vile. So yeah, it's maddening to think that that's what he does, and I think there's something really, really cool about the relationship between him and his brother that he must probably get a lot of confidence from. That his brother like is mental on a jet ski, whips him in.
His his younger brother's just so low key as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
It's just incredible. Like that's what I thought was another interesting thing, where there really isn't a whole lot of footage of his younger brother in the movie, apart from maybe he's a tiny bit towards the start where they kind of introduce him.
yeah, yeah, and and yeah, like his brother on that ski, like he knows before he's even made a wave or not if he's making it and where he needs to be, and like every time he picks him up, he's like, "How was that one?" Or he like even gives him feedback on loads of waves. He's like, "Oh, did you? Yeah, like could have been a bit deeper, or that one looked bumpy and things like that." Just thought the whole thing
It,
was
Interesting enough, his brother, it's Courtney, isn't it?
yeah,
His wife, which I think her name is Imogen, she came out of the middle of nowhere there, like they did, and I think she's done a little bit of international modeling, like to a fairly successful degree, and now she's kind of semi towing into to a little bit more comfortable slabs than like a brother-in-law, but still, like they're children of their environment. I mean, it just seems
yeah,
like unfathomable for example, myself who grew up like Brisbane and Sunshine Coast, where there are a couple. There is a wave where we live called platforms, which is pretty gnarly, but it doesn't get anything like that in size or consistency. Where that's if that's all they've seen, you can see
mm,
like how amazing they get at it. Like Killian Jornet, he grew up with his parents just um, paddling him around, walking around, hiking around up on the top of mountains. So all of a
yeah,
sudden, if you just happen to be one of those children that are incredibly talented, all of a sudden you've been in that environment so much that it becomes, I guess, it just becomes normal. From what we're looking at in that film, it kind of becomes normal. Where I don't think you could just go on a surf trip to the Maldives, for example.
yeah.
It's
I was
just you
wondering
wouldn't,
about that.
you just
I
wouldn't
was
go.
I was wondering like, would he even bother?
Well, you
Um,
saw when he was young, didn't you? You saw when he
yeah,
was young
he
how
used to
good
surf
he
good.
surfs.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
didn't
He
want a
used
part
to
of
surf
it.
good. Nah, and like I think I think another part that I loved about the film is it was unapologetically him. Like there were they I don't think any part of it they tried to like make
Sugarcoat.
yeah exactly that's the word I was looking for sugarcoat anything to it or like bow down to anyone or fit into any kind of hole. It was like this is what this is about, that kind of thing. But I wanted to ask you your thoughts about right at the end. So I don't really want to give spoilers away, but obviously right at the end he's got he's kind of like in that conversation where he's got to make a decision. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
To keep going or not.
yeah, and it's that must be such a weird, hard feeling because like on one hand you're like, don't you like he had like a very big slice of luck, walk away, you know, he's got his family, his kids and stuff. But then how do you walk away? Like,
Well, it's kind of like Alex Honnold, who I've been following like maybe for 4 or 5 years now since I watched El Capitan, and then he had children and stuff, and I think he actually has stopped free soloing like 800 1,000 meter vertical faces, but I'm pretty sure he's still free solos like what for us would be death
crazy.
defying. Let's say 100 meter face
Yeah.
somewhere off with children, where if you do stop, you're no longer yourself. I guess that's
Yeah, or
it's like Formula One car races and stuff like that. Do do they compromise? Which people rarely should. You know what I mean? You should compromise your career for your children if you want to be there for their life.
yeah.
But but maybe lucky for the rest of humanity and unlucky for these families that some of these people don't, because otherwise we wouldn't see the extreme peaks that humans can achieve.
Yeah. I mean, I like completely understand and kind of on one point, well, I agree with all of the points you just made. I know that um Alex Botelho, the Portuguese big wave surfer, he had a mental wipeout at Nazaré, I think it was, and then his partner got pregnant and said he's not going near big waves anymore. And I know that Shane Dorian stopped surfing big waves. Um, and I guess you probably need to replace, like if Kerby done that, he would probably need to replace it with something. But when you're talking about the extremes that like something like Kerby would need to replace it with, you kind of like there's not much you can replace it with that's gonna kind of fill that void.
Man, I saw a dude the other day swimming. Did I send you that? Swimming with killer whales.
No, you didn't see it. I didn't see that, but
I mean, Crocodile Man, Steve Irwin
Steve Irwin,
used to
yeah,
take, yeah,
yeah,
he used to take to extremes until what do you call it, a giant
stingray.
stingray stung him. So
Yeah,
let's
you're
see.
right. I mean,
I hope Kirby grows to be an old man over there in West Australia and tell tales to the young. I don't know how much more extreme you can get than that.
no,
I mean, the dudes are doing similar sort of stuff in Tasmania. What I thought it was really interesting about it was this film was maybe just done what 2 years ago? When was it 18 months ago?
I think it was.
It's taken a while to come out. I know it was
Yeah,
at least
I
first
think.
released last year, so that would have been a year filming up to that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I'd say it's probably like made 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah,
But he's been doing that sort of stuff, let's say,
yeah,
for 15 years before they like did the film. Now you got guys. I'm not like taking anything away with them. Koa and Nathan and everything else, but every single move they make is documented and monetized.
yeah,
Now it just seems really different to what those guys are doing. Even though they filmed those things, there's a shit ton that weren't filmed,
yeah, for
and
sure.
obviously were just done for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, and part of me thinks like, was it someone else's idea to make this film? Like, and then
And does
Like,
it make you happier that like these people have been doing all these things and you don't know any of it and you don't see about it? It makes me
yeah,
happier.
that's the thing is like, I watched it thinking, never ever seen this guy surf before. Not you don't hear about him. I'd heard about the film and heard about him from a Ain't That Swell podcast, and that's why I was keen to watch it. But before watching this, if you'd have said to me who's Kirby Brown and put 10 people in front of me, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out of a lineup and stuff. And I really enjoyed that about it. Like same as I wouldn't have known who Nimbus Persia was before. And
He's a little bit on the radar for Australians because
yeah,
obviously he's an apex predator in heavy waves in Australia, so he'll have covers and a lot of exposure in print media in Australia over all these years.
yeah,
I've got a feeling that he doesn't look like someone who's incredibly active on Instagram and
nah,
TikTok. Huh? Thank
no.
God.
But I mean, some of the clips of him up at Nalu when he like paddling and stuff, mental.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, watch it, people. Steal someone's login. Watch
Message
it.
us, DM us, the Insiders Podcast on Instagram. If you DM us saying, please can I have your stab login, I will give you my stab login.
Don't go doing that. Don't go doing that. Just let them get it off someone else. They know. Don't start giving them yours because that's compromising other people's media as well. They'll find some, they'll find a
That
way to
won't
watch it,
mind.
and even still, it's got its own website.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just literally Google facing monsters. Like,
Its own website. Contribute
yeah,
to them. So I wanted the. Are you happy with shelving the discussion on that
done,
incredible piece of cinematography?
done. Moving on.
Okay. I want to talk about the Olympics, Matt. We've got to start warming up. I want to have 3 or 4 Olympic episodes, and this can be our first one.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Um,
What I think is going to be interesting is how are we going to watch this? Because everyone's been talking about this for all this time, and I just got a feeling that we're not even going to be able to watch it. Because, for example, if you're a real badminton fan, like, if you're the biggest fan of badminton in the UK,
yeah,
and all of a sudden your badminton semi-finals comes up against the men's 100-meter
yeah.
heats, first round heats, you're getting brushed. You know what I mean? There's no live streaming from what I can understand.
I think there is. That's what they had in Japan.
Are you sure? There's a live streaming where you can just stream the surfing.
I'm almost certain that's what they had in Japan. It's like almost
Almost
like
certain.
almost like when you had the red button, you can go on and press the red button and it like the same as that.
Can you get your journalistic
I will find
abilities
out.
on this? Because I just got a feeling that we're going to miss most of it.
I will find out. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to watch it. I'm pretty confident. Um, I did want to say to you though, not in a good way, but did you read about that photographer?
Oh, yeah, the one that nearly drowned
Yeah, like
and
second.
then went back out and then nearly drowned again.
Yeah, and it was all because he kind of passed out after the effects of the first one, but delayed. Um, but it just goes to our point, or it goes to the point that I've said a couple of times of a little bit worried about some of the people taking part.
Even though apparently the forecast is looking like it's not big.
8 to 10 foot.
Can
Um,
you can you confirm that?
I can confirm that that is from Nathan Florence's mouth himself as well.
Yeah, I was looking at some. Oh, wow, we'll soon see, won't we? So they don't catch a wave. There's no problem with not catching a wave.
Yeah, because it's on the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and at the moment it's 6 to 8 foot at 14 seconds, then 8 to 10 foot and 8 to 12 foot at 14 seconds.
How come they're not letting me in Surfline? I'm in there.
No.
On what date was that?
The 29th, 30th, and 31st was when I was looking.
I don't want to start free trial. Anyway, I believe you. I'll do that later.
Yeah, but so
Carly Bass. Did you see Carly Bass's wave?
what a wave that was.
I had an inside rumor that Diddy Pitta thought he's burning himself out before the event, but maybe it's just really hardcore and it's just a really good way to rattle. I don't think he cares. I think he just went out there for another really good wave.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of. I'm not sure I'd say that there's a risk of burnout because there's still a bit of time, but there's, it's his home Olympics and it's a massive opportunity for him. And he goes out on a wave on a day like that and breaks his leg. Is a
All over
big,
Red Rover.
big risk for him to do that. So, not saying that's what Didier was saying, but maybe along the lines of that is like, why are you taking that risk? Like he doesn't need warm-up days out there.
No, but that was the wave of his life.
Was a mental wave, and like
Pretty
now
funny how surfing, isn't it?
sitting here
How,
now,
how people
sitting here
just
now,
get
and he made it.
schizophrenic.
Yeah,
Who else was there that said it? Leo didn't surf. I think a few other people didn't surf. Like, why would you? Yeah,
I think
honestly, as a serious athlete, you wouldn't. But that Callie's just maybe shown his stripes.
Felipe paddled out.
Ah, I
I'm
didn't
pretty.
see any footage of that.
Yeah, no, he was nowhere near it. But yeah, you're right. Like I kind of think, like, what would Andy Irons have done?
Oh, I would have been out there.
Yeah, so I think he's pretty core of Carly, but also risky.
Reckless.
Yeah, yeah, but what a wave, a hell wave. But so you obviously wanted to do a slight, like, obviously Olympic episode. Um,
Yeah, who's your favourite?
my favorite is John John.
Okay, John John.
Who's yours?
I think I'm gonna go Jack.
Okay,
I'm gonna go Jack Medina.
I'm back in Bahine.
Yeah, so yep, that's definite. Look, I've logged in. I'm going for Hine. I think do you think Tyler Wright's gonna surf? There's been a press release that she's got some sort of illness has hit her.
Yeah, no, I'm done with Tyler. I'm going Bahine. Um, yeah, pretty much just back in Bahine or
You can't even see on the forecast.
maybe
When does it start? The second, when does it start?
I think the 29th.
The 29th. Let me have a look. Well,
But yeah, I think maybe
maybe
Molly.
we shouldn't be doing this mid-episode.
Well, while you do that, I think Molly will do better than Tyler.
Oh, for sure. Olympic surfing schedule and results. Paris 2024, even though we're not in Paris. We've got surfing man 27 of July.
To the 5th of
Okay.
August.
So 27. And you were right then. What did we see? 27. We're a little bit out yet. 27, 1.2 to 1.8, 0.9 to 1.4. Monday, 1.8 to 2.4. Tuesday, 2.4 to 3.7. That'd be good to see the finals run on a Monday or the Tuesday, let's say the 30th.
Yeah.
10 foot. John John to win. You could be right. Who won? Italo. Beat John
Yeah,
John.
he's not even in it. Oh, what
Okay.
the Dell event?
Gabrielle isn't it though, isn't he?
Yeah. Also, dark horse. My dark horse is Jalchenka.
Shenka, dark horse. See, there's
Who?
someone else. He had a severe head injury. He's back on the saddle less than 6 months later. That's pretty risky.
Yeah. Who? What are you saying for women? I'm going Vahina and Molly.
I can't even see anyone else even in the final. I think potentially they could just have a Vahini against herself in the final.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, Molly, there's got to be someone else there. Is
Well,
Tati in it?
Carissa Moore's in it.
Is
Tatiana,
Tati in it?
yeah. Katie Simmers is in it.
Katie Simmers will go really good.
So there are. I mean, there are other names in it.
Okay, I'm gonna go Katie Simmers gold medal. That would be like a Cinderella story.
Be crazy. I wouldn't put it past
She
her. She wins fucking everything else.
Oh, she's really good. She's really talented. She charges. Um, the press are going to want her to win. The American press, they've got a fair bit of push there. That can get people's confidence up. You see that in the Olympics over the many Olympics that I watched. Like for example, the men's runner, they get all that push and somehow they just seem to get through.
I think it always goes one way or the other, doesn't it?
Yeah,
There's some people who are a bit like Tottenham Football Club. They just can't handle pressure and they just melt. And then there's some people that love it and perform higher because of it as well. So,
I'm
um,
going to be closely watching the men's 2 and 400 and maybe 1500 freestyle as well because the son of one of my old best mates and the nephew of my other best mates, Sam Short. I don't know if he's a favorite, but he's a favorite in one of those races.
that's crazy. Well, I'll keep an
Will
eye.
that be as exciting as 10-foot Chopu for the gold medal? I think not.
No, especially not if it's 10 foot.
I mean, even pole vault, which I like watching, I don't think can match it.
No,
What
no.
can match it?
Uh,
The 50 kilometer walk,
yeah, yeah. The the triple jump.
the triple jumps. Always a cracker to watch, isn't it? You see, they just look like absolute Barneys. What's
Yeah.
another crack classic is the steeplechase. I love watching a good
I love the steeplechase.
steeplechase.
The last water jump.
Steeplechase. Last sort of chase. Where they where they just go tits up.
Do you know what I
And
saw?
then amongst all that, you got surfing and like bowl skating. Skating's in it, isn't it? Like
Oh yeah,
freestyle
yeah.
bowl.
Skating's sick. I saw someone the other day put something on the internet and I thought, do you know what, that is hilarious and also would be amazing. They said before every, let's just say before the 100 meters, get someone who like get an average person to run it so they can see how great the Olympians are or not. You know, like if your average person could do 100 meters in 10 seconds and then the gold medalist is only 9 seconds, it's not that great. And it made me think about people doing like the steeplechase. Like imagine me trying to do a steeplechase and I'm like blowing out my ass and then jump that last water jump and almost drown and stuff. It'd be funny as, but yeah,
I can just see this happening to you. For example, listen. John Florence, 15 minutes to go in the final. 10 gets a 10. Excuse me, viewers. We're just quickly changing over to the men's equestrian teams bronze
yeah.
medal final where England's riders Sir William Charlesworth and John Bickensworth are about to start. I mean, that's what they'll do to us. That's what they do in Australia. Maybe not Australia because it's a
Oh, they
little bit
do.
more
And
surfing nation. But all of a sudden they'll switch to like I don't know, the women's biathlon. And what is it? It's heptathlon.
yeah, but they what they do, the worst thing they do is they'll cut an event to watch the medal ceremony. So
Medal ceremony
yeah, of
of
like
the
the team dress
what's the
up.
one where they shoot
Yeah,
the fake ducks up in the air.
clay
What are
pigeon
that?
shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, or like the like you said, like the walking, the speed walking, and they'll flip it on and be like, watch the last 100 meters of the speed walking, and it still takes them half hour.
My son's had three of friends of his from Paris down at our place for the last week, and I dropped one of the girls this morning to the train station. Chloe, shout out to you, Chloe, who doesn't and will never listen to this podcast. But it's pretty interesting because she's like, I'm like, are you looking forward to getting back? She goes, I'm a bit worried actually with the Olympics starting because there's the two metro stations where she lives are shut and has
Right.
barriers on the end of her road. So she can't even get, she's not really sure how she gets out of her district.
Yeah,
What a shit fight.
crazy, isn't it? It's
It's
crazy to
it's
take
gonna
this
be hectic.
over.
Like she's working in August, so she's got to work out some sort of way to get to work.
Yeah,
They'll just be hating the Olympics. I know the Parisians too. They're the apex haters of the French population, who are some of the world's best haters, and they're going to be just dark at this thing by the
yeah,
time it's finished.
elite level hate.
There'll be
Um,
some extreme flat tires going.
it was a bit like England last Sunday. The whole country went into kind of shut down. Like literally
Oh,
everyone was just in the pub.
how was that? But we didn't talk about it. What a match!
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
such a good match. How was that double header?
I know Declan Rice and Mark Gay.
They didn't give up. It was incredible. It was just great. I was proud of you. Were you happy? Were you proud?
I would, you know what? England gave Spain the hardest game of the whole tournament. Spain were by far the best team in the tournament. They won 7 out of 7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Phenomenal team. And I thought
And
England,
they still didn't win until the last minute.
yeah, and we still had chances as well. But I mean, the in a way, I'm kind of glad because I don't know what sort of state I'd be in.
Riots,
Oh,
riots.
I got I got kind of halfway bent up on Sunday just watching it and went into work. It was the first time.
Tell me, you bent your elbow a couple of times, didn't you?
Third, well, put it this way, I went to Essex, so I done a 7 hour drive to Essex straight out with one of the ladies who I work with, who's a legend, Jem. She does listen as well, and she took me out into Essex and got me pretty smashed. And Monday morning was the first time of me going into the office at my new job, meeting all the big bosses and stuff, and I was not feeling good.
Dodgy. How did they name that town originally, you reckon? Essex. Like, is it like, let's go Essex? Let's go to have Essex. Have you ever been to
Uh,
Essex? Essex. Huh?
yeah, I don't actually know.
It's pretty weird.
Should we-
We
I
got
mean,
a little town right near me called Toss.
well, in England, there's Sussex as well.
Oh, I'd rather live in Essex than
So I think it could be something to do with East sex, and then Sussex is south, so
got a bit of sex in the east.
south sex. I don't know, but there's then and there
Like
is
effing.
Wessex as well. So who knows?
A what? A what?
Wessex,
Wessex.
but
That just sounds like a bunch of sort of horny men or women that had a stutter.
probably was. You know,
All right, well, that's episode one. We're gonna have a follow up with it. If it's the 18th and it's kicking off the 27th, next week we can dedicate half the episode to
yeah,
the Olympic build up as well. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of back information on uniforms. I'd also like to know if anyone's going to the opening ceremony and then whipping back to Tahiti, which would just sound stupid, or are they invited to the opening ceremony on Zoom, do you think?
and what about when it finishes? When the surfing finishes, are they then gonna head to Paris to be part of like their closing ceremony?
Or do they do it via like
Yeah,
Microsoft Teams,
yeah, could be a.
sponsored by Teams?
They could have someone walking around with an iPad with like John's face on the iPad, and he's on Teams sitting there waving a little flag. on the
Yeah, so if
screen.
you're like some low level sorry, surfers, none of you is a low level, but let's just say lesser known surfer with no coin in this highly expensive world, and you've already broken the country's surfing athlete budget just to get to Tahiti, and you say to them, look, can you just throw in a quick return flight to Paris? I guess they'd get a bed at the Olympic Village, wouldn't they? They wouldn't have to Airbnb it next to the stadium
You'd
and
hope
get
so.
a Uber from the airport, which will already blow their budget.
Maybe they could go and stay with Chloe.
I just think will send her a message. Do you want to have some like surfer from Costa Rica just for the night so he can
Yeah,
go to the opening ceremony? He wouldn't be able to get out of her district though.
should put up with should house Jalchenko.
Hey, you sent me a message the other day, Matt, promising some sort of wetsuit. Was there a wetsuit coming my way?
I believe so.
Believe so. You never know until it comes up. But have our winners been? Have we been able to
Picked.
contact?
They're picked. They've got the product. They've put posts up. They've sent us a review. They absolutely love the bags. Shout out Sam at 614. He got the bag, sent us a really, really cool review, and Oscar.
Is he from Essex
I don't think so actually. I think he's
or
actually from
from
East
abs
Sussex.
or he's not from abstinence?
No, he's not. Not around
Okay.
East Sussex. But
So thank you very much, DB. Thank you very much, Matthew. I'm gonna go back and try and catch the back end of episode 4 of the Dallas Cowboys to see how they're managing their brand. Daughter of the owners, like one of the head honchos in there. It's the epitome of
it's America.
like of Ivana Trump, who
Yeah,
can come out with a book and tell people how to be successful businesswomen and still have children and get by with 6 nannies.
it's a hard life.
And have a look at my ear. This morning I accidentally I was like, for once, I haven't really done it, but I've always thought, every now and then you shave the hair, that those
Oh yeah,
little
yeah.
kind of hairs in the middle of your earlobes. And I nicked it and I've gone because you don't even really feel it. And I was like, fuck that. And like so it's bleeding, right? And it wouldn't stop bleeding. I had to finish the shower off, hose it, I thought a bit of water would stop it, which it didn't. There's my cut. Hi, Romy. So anyway, I've put tissue on, and I've got this big clump of tissue on my ear, then it's stuck to it with the blood. And my missus coming out for breakfast, and she's like, "Well, are you trying to be like Donald
Um,
Trump or something?" Shout out to the new president.
well, yeah. It's one of the coldest photos I've ever seen. That photo was taken of him, but he's in that job. But right,
Okay, thanks very
thanks
much.
everyone. Au revoir.
Au revoir.